Hello, Susanne Hutzler.
Hello, Julia Neumann.
Thank you for being a yes, even if it's been a while since the Women of Earth Lab, to speaking with me about your experience from the lab. You were one of the 27 women that co-created the Women of Earth Lab that was navigated by Vera Franco and Anne-Chloé Destremaux. And is there something that's still alive in you today that when I ask you, what do you want to share about it, that comes up first?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to talk about this lab. Yes, it's very much alive. It's very much alive in me because so many changes which I now perceive in my life have their origin in this 5-day space. And what's most alive in me, what's coming to my memory first is the very special quality of a female space, which is designed for initiation and held in a way that every woman comes forward from their protective position from behind, so that every woman can come into the space and shine in the space. This is what touched me most and what gave me a taste of how our living as women together could be, when every woman is fully present in a space with her whole being alive.
How does that become possible? This calling each other forth, or that each woman can be present in the space?
By, as you say, calling each other forth. The beginning was very, was symptomatic because in a space where we were talking about patriarchy and our needs and our sufferings, every woman was kind of in a defensive position, waiting that any other woman would show up, and no woman showed up beyond conventional contributions. And then the space cracked when one woman started to share her feeling, and she was very angry, and she was letting the feelings speak, letting her being and letting her feelings speak. And then the space shifted. So this was the beginning. So letting, having the feelings on board and calling the other women out. What happens? Like really directing the attention to one woman and say, I perceive that you are not fully in the space. What's going on in you? What's happening right now that you do not share? I sense you are sad. So it was a lot of directly speaking for two other women, calling them out, and also holding space for their all the messes coming out, because the mess is coming out first, the emotions, the hurts, the emotional drama situations. Yeah, so we had a lot of emotional healing processes, held spaces for all the hurts and pain come up and show. And after, I'd say maybe 1.5 days, it was like as if the water was cleared. So the weapons were on the table. It was also showing the weapons, how we go against each other, how we compete in patriarchy. They were on the table, and after that, the space was cleared for something new to create together. Yeah.
Glad to hear that. Will you share more about the new that you created together and how that worked for you?
Yeah, what worked for me was directly taking a stand to be at the side of my sister. So whatever happens, I see it's a sister. It's not some other woman who I compete with, or it's my sister. And we walk together, and her case is my case. Her case is my case. So we all together, all these 27 women together exited patriarchy. We entered the new land. We do not know how it goes, but we left patriarchy behind us. So that also makes us companions of in the new land of not knowing. So we share a common case of moving in a land which has even no floor, no rules. Everything has to be invented new. How can I relate? How can I relate with this woman who is sitting in front of me, who is eating at my side, who I'm sleeping with in the same room? Yeah. And we had also a lot of fun actions.
Yeah, it's like
So,
what?
Like what? We debaptized us together. There was a swimming pool, and we were saying, everyone was saying how we were baptized into the modern culture, into the capitalist patriarchal culture. And then every woman debaptized herself. So she went into the water naked and let everything go of all these concepts. So it's also really fun.
And the other women witnessing, so one woman go in or just one at a time?
Witnessing, standing around the pool, and then one woman saying out loud what she's leaving behind, and then woof into the water. It was really beautiful. So, yeah. And we cooked together in a very fluid way. So there was only one space holder for a meal, and then everything else arranged itself. So whoever wanted to contribute helped with the cooking, and it worked out totally fine. So we had great meals. Also the cleaning, whatever had the chores that have to be done, the space rolled in a very fluid and soft manner.
I'm glad you're sharing that. Through your sharing, I get a sense of a different quality of the space that I hadn't tasted yet or sensed yet. You're talking also about the in-between spaces, so the space, the space that happens when it's not the official training space, and in a lab, the whole thing is the training space, but there are these in-between spaces.
Yeah, and often the in-between spaces reveal the gold. It comes it comes on light foot when we're sitting together and eating together. And because of this special form of connection, this calls forward the being more. So the being is sitting at the table. It's not the woman with her box and her gremlin and all these patterns, so it's more sitting at being to being connection. And that's what I'm taking with me. It's the memory, that's what really changed a lot in my life.
How does that show up today in your life, or how is that affecting your life?
Yeah, even to know that such a space is possible. I have an experience of this space, and that makes that I want to be in a being to being connection with everyone I meet. I want this special quality of the space not contained to this lab, but I'm carrying this quality into my connections, into my everyday life. I haven't said that before. I just realized. And it's difficult, and it's also difficult for me on another side, because I realize my box patterns, that how much I normally relate with my box, with persons, with my concepts and ideas, and also my emotional patterns, which are more habitual. And when I open to you as a being, it's totally unpredictable what's coming. My box doesn't like this. My box wants to be in control.
How do you navigate that?
I feel more. I feel more. I decide to feel more. I decide to keep my heart open. I decide not to go back into my old habit of being alone, being in control, being distant. I decide to be in front with my open heart, and I decide to show my sadness and my fear. I decide to not be so cool and sleek. Yeah. And that's a hell of a mess.
A hell of a mess?
Yeah, because I feel more. So I also feel a lot of unwanted things. Feel a lot of things, a lot of where connection is not working, where I cannot communicate. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get how this pain or noticing where you are, like this, it's like the reality check becomes more real. You get more in contact with reality, and so illusions fall away, and that's painful, or fantasies. And at the same time, yeah.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it is absolutely necessary in order to have your being come through. Otherwise, it has to stay locked in. Is that your experience?
Yes. Fantasies, and they fall away in a way that they show their full potential first. So as I experience, the fantasy comes in, and it tells me I'm real. I'm real. My emotions are real. All the inner theater, this is real. And often I need a space holder to navigate me out of this fantasy. And then I realize I've been in a fantasy. Yeah. And what's changing is also the form of communication. So I'm much more clear and open and say what I feel and what is. Yeah.
And is that like, what does that cause in your environment?
There's more love. It's more love happening, more closeness, more intimacy, more friendship. And I had no idea this would happen. It was possible. So this is what I get from this women's lab, and also the other spaces around which I have been in. Yeah.
I heard you say in our conversation before this something about there's two aspects. One, like something about being the elder woman or being the oldest woman, and I don't think it really relates only to age, but being in a different life stage than most of the other women. Can you say something about your experience of that?
Yeah. So in one level it doesn't matter at all. It's absolutely of no importance. And I'm in a different stage of my life. So I have been through a lot of these processes already. Maybe I didn't do this, I didn't take the same decisions or so, but I have been to the process of divorcing, getting a child, letting the child go, all these processes, all the discussion, should I get pregnant or not, which man, who am I in the world? I've got a lot of own experiences about these phases, which makes it well, my question is somehow different. My questions are not about these things. My questions, what can I do now? What can I do now? Yeah, what's my I'm lost. What's my calling? I think what's calling me now, force. It's not it's not about changing the world, like building up a new empire or something. Yeah, it's not. I'm lost. Can we cut this out?
Well, it doesn't sound like you're lost to me. It leads exactly to what you also mentioned, that that you are having conversations with your archetypal lineage and that you're getting really clear information. And somehow that seems relevant. So would you say something about that?
Yeah, I've been traveling to Gaia with this question. So what's my job? So what is the job of the older woman in this archiarchy world, where there is, when we left patriarchy behind, what could be my job? What can I do on my life experience? And also talking to my archetypal lineage, I got really clear information that it is my job to initiate men so they can find the portals into the archiarchy. That's my job as an older woman. And maybe what's helping, that men don't play sexual games anymore with an elder woman. They simply don't. So it's more easy to go into a direct relationship without this veil of sexuality, seduction, white widow plays. So most men don't do it anymore with elder women, which could also be kind of painful if you want to look there. But it's also helpful.
Get the sense of this community weaving and weaving this web where you hold space for the men to initiate, and it's bringing the village together, or holding space for the whole village somehow.
Yes, that's one of the positions. Yeah, the whole village, weaving together the young and the old, the female and the male, and also creating these portals into archaearchy, because women have been going forward and will be going forward into archaearchy because of their bigger necessity of leaving patriarchy. So it's always women being in the front in the space holding for archaearchy to happen. And so my job would be paint this portals, create the portals. It's not bridges, it's portal, because you have to go through a wall. So, and I do not know how it goes, because I do not know. I really do not know. And the magic thing is, what happened is, this day after having this conversation with my archetypal lineage and Gaia, the day after, a man called me just out of the blue and just wanting to talk to me about his past, on his own past out of patriarchy. Oh wow, it's already working.
It's already working. Thank you, Susanna.
Yeah.